Hi friend, how are you? Happy Valentine's Day. I have a question for you. Will you be my Valentine? Will you? Because I love you very muchly, and I just hope you know how much you're loved right now. Like, I love you so much. Thank you so much for being here. And today's episode is gonna be all about love. Oh, welcome back to the Loving Yourself Queer podcast. Yes, let's go. Let's get it. Okay. I'm excited to do this. Let's go. Okay. So, like I said, today's episode is gonna be on love, and since it is Valentine's Day, I thought that was the perfect episode to do, especially because I feel like love is something that so many of us look for in life, but we don't always know what it looks like. You know, we all come into this world as, you know, these beautiful little babies that don't know anything, and so much of what we learn is taught to us from the people around us. And when you're brought into this world, you're this perfect little blank slate, and you resonate with the frequency of this universe. You resonate in the frequency of love, just being this newborn little child. But from the second that you're born, all of these people around you have their own, I don't want to say their own shit, but they have their own shit. And so much of that gets reflected on this new child. And it can be from your parents, from your family, when you get a little bit older and you start going to school, from friends, and then as you progress in your age, from your society and just expectations that are placed onto you. But what we're taught and what we're conditioned to think is just that. It's conditioning. And we have to remember that so much of who we are is the people around us, is our society, is the culture that we're raised in, is the country that we live in, is the time, the generation that we're born in. All of these things contribute to the way that we feel about everyday things, but it also goes a lot deeper. It affects the way that we feel about ourselves personally, how we feel about our emotions, how we think about our identities, all of these different things. And yes, it affects how we think about love. Now, love is this really crazy thing because so many of us are looking for it. So many of us are searching for it, or our other half, the person we were meant to spend our life with, the hallmark moments of like you and your significant other getting together and it just being like magical and like there being fireworks everywhere. Like that's what everyone wants. That's what everyone seeks. But the question is, do you know what love actually looks like? Do you know what a healthy love looks like outside of the media, outside of the movies, outside of the happily ever after, outside of the, you know, the princess being carried away on the white stallion, you know, like do you know what real healthy love looks like in this world? Because I feel that so many of us really don't. We base this idea of love, we base this idea of happily ever after that we want, whether at the end of the day you want like a family or if you just want a partner, you base so much of what those connections look like off of the people around you, off of your society, media, movies, film, just things that are shown to you. Because if you don't know it in real life, where else are you picking that up from? You have to see it from somewhere. And I think the really important thing to know and acknowledge is what you're being taught isn't necessarily what you need or what you should be looking for. So in this episode, I want to talk about love as a whole. Yes, we're going to talk about romantic love, but this episode is about so much more than that. Personally, I believe that we are beings of love, that love is our natural frequency, and I think all of the other things that happen in the world are sort of an impediment on that. They dampen that frequency. They make us scared and angry and feel all of these other things, and get us out of that frequency of love and joy that we are naturally born into. When we come into this world, I feel that we have this natural vibration of love instilled in us. Love is the most nourishing, nurturing energy in this world. It's the most healing energy in this world. If you've been listening to this podcast for a little while, you'll notice that the exercises that I always do, especially when we do breathing, often work from a place of love. Love is the most healing energy, and it's the one that I often use the most when I'm doing my healing work, because they say that time heals all wounds, but personally, I believe that love heals all wounds. Nourishing yourself, fueling yourself with love can help so many different things in so many different ways. It can help you mentally, it can help you emotionally, it can help you physically, it can literally help you heal yourself and your body. It's crazy, and I am living proof of this. I am living proof that love heals in so many different ways. But what is love anyways? And I want to talk about this definition of what is love, because not everyone in the world knows what love is. Some of us are born into families that lack love, where that love just isn't there, where someone tells you, I love you, but then they go and treat you horribly. They do and say really awful things. They call you really ugly things. They do really ugly things to you, say really ugly things about you behind your back, to your face, X, Y, and Z, and you're treated not from a place of love. But then this person turns around and tells you, hey, I love you. And so we get this really warped idea of what love actually is. And this can be from many different people in your life. It doesn't have to be from family. There are so many people that go through abusive relationships, whether it's friendships, romantic relationships, any sort of relationship that you're dealing with. It can be from mentors, authority figures, where they tell you that they care about you, but then they're doing all of these like really shady, gross, abusive things. And so it goes in a lot of different ways, and it can break down this trust in this word love. For me personally, for a lot of my life, I didn't believe I was loved, and that goes into my mental health and a whole myriad of things that happened when I was a kid. And so I remember growing up and hearing my family tell me that they loved me, and hearing that word and thinking that it was a lie, because I thought that love was a lie. And I'm not the only person that's out there that thinks like this, and I know that. So if you're hearing this and this is resonating, then you're gonna want to listen, because boy, this is gonna be a good one. Okay, so real love. Now, so many of us are sort of fed this idea of love through media and film and kind of what we see around us. But what is love really? So love is this perfect balance of just divine energy. Now, a lot of times when we talk about this perfect balance and divine energy, you talk about the masculine and the feminine energies, and like, that's great and everything, but it has to do with the binary, and I don't really like that. So I'm gonna talk about it, but I want you to keep that in mind, is that it is very like binary focused and very like traditionally focused, which we kind of don't support. But I also do like the overall balance and definition that both of these sources bring. I do also want to say, just because I'm talking about masculine and feminine energy doesn't necessarily have to mean that this is what a man's energy is like and this is what a woman's energy is like. They're interchangeable. I, as a being, possess both masculine and feminine energy, and so do you, regardless of what your gender or your sex or how you identify or anything like that. Like, you possess both masculine and feminine energy, and I want you to know that. This is kind of just how they're referenced, but you don't have to be a man and only have masculine energy, and you don't have to be a woman and only have feminine energy. You have both, always, all the time. And whether these energies are more prominent or not is based off of you and your own journey and where you are energetically and what you've worked with, what you feel more comfortable in presenting and working with. So there are some people that are, you know, male, that have very feminine energy, that are very nurturing and loving, and there are some females out there that have very masculine energy, that are very like dominant and protective, and that's just who we are, and that's 100% okay. So I want you to keep that in mind moving forward. To me, real love is feeling really safe in someone's energy, but it's so much more than that. Like I said, it's the balance of these two divine energies. It's the balance of both masculine and feminine energy. And as I mentioned before, masculine energy is going to be more protective and feminine energy is going to be more nourishing, nurturing. And so real love is going to be that sort of feeling safe energetically because you are protected, but also nourishing and nurturing the parts of you that have been wounded or just need love, like your inner child, for example. Taking care of your inner child, pouring love into your inner child is one of the best ways of just healing yourself, but it's also one of the best ways of just taking care of yourself, looking after yourself. And when you do that, it's often you exercising feminine energy. But love is also more than that. It's light, it's joy, it's warmth. It's the most pure, radiant light and healing energy that exists in the entire known universe. It's something that can't be completely described in words. It's more something that you feel. Now, I took down the Webster Dictionary definition of love, and I actually hate it. And I want to read it to you to show you how hard it is to actually capture love in words. So the Webster's Dictionary definition of love is warm affection, sexual passion, sweetheart, score of nothing. And I hate that definition because it doesn't even come close to capturing what love actually is. Yes, it's warmth and affection and these things, but warm affection comes from a place of love. It's like, I was talking to my mom today about the wind and about how all of these different things, how some of the strongest forces in the world can be felt, but they aren't seen. And love is a perfect example of that. Love is felt, but it's not always seen. The manifestation of love can be seen, like tender love, like affection, like this teddy bear. Those can be seen and they come from places of love, but love itself can't always be seen, can't always be described. And there are lots of people that try to capture it in things like poetry and music and art and all of these beautiful different things, but it's something that really needs to be felt. And the best way to feel this love is for you to feel it within yourself, for you to pour love into yourself, for you to pour affection into yourself, for you to protect yourself, to nourish yourself, to nurture yourself, to use both those masculine and feminine energies, marry them together, and use them with you. Okay? Today's podcast really is about loving you. This podcast is called the Loving Yourself Queer Podcast. It's about loving you no matter what. Because you are you, and you are worthy and deserving of love always. There are so many people in this world that have never received love, that don't know what that looks like, that are beaten down every single day, physically, mentally, emotionally, verbally. I watch it happen all around me, and it makes me so sad. And I want you to know that if you're one of those people, that it feels like you don't even know where to start. Like, you are so deprived of love that you can't even begin to gather the concept of what love possibly could be. I want you to note that you're not alone in that. There are so many people in this world that are just like you, that have never known love, fear that they will never know love. And you know what? I was one of them. I was. For a really long time, I felt that I had never known love, that I would never know love. And this is in every way possible. I didn't believe that I was worthy or deserving of love, and I rejected any sort of semblance of love or friendship or relationships that existed around me. And what you don't realize is by doing that, by pushing those things away, you drive away the love that you crave so much. So if you're doing this, I want you to pause and I want you to reflect. I want you to ask yourself, is that what you're doing? Are you driving away love? Are you keeping it at bay? Or is it coming from outside of you? Is it your environment? Is it the people around you? Are you being treated in a way that isn't kind? Are you being treated in a way that lacks love, that lacks respect? Because love and respect go hand in hand in so many different ways. One of the first things that I had to learn how to do on my self-love journey was learn how to respect myself, learn how to respect my boundaries, because that is such an important part of learning how to love yourself, is knowing this is where I stand, and this is what's okay, and this is what isn't okay. And I want you to know that it's okay to have boundaries. Having boundaries is one of the most important ways to love yourself. It's utilizing that masculine energy, protection, protecting yourself. Protecting yourself so that way the feminine energy can come in and love and nourish and nurture the parts of you that need that love. But if you don't have those boundaries, if you don't have that protective barrier, if you don't know how to protect your energy, then people are just going to keep taking from you. People are just going to keep crossing those boundaries, doing whatever it is that they want. Because you don't know how to say no. Because you don't know how to put you and your needs first. And I want you to learn how to do that, because that is so important. You deserve to have boundaries. You deserve to learn how to say no. You deserve to learn how to love yourself. You deserve to learn how to pour that love into you. So step number 1 in learning how to do that is learning how to put up boundaries, learning how to say no. And step number 2 is learning how to actually pour that love into yourself. Learning how to nourish and nurture yourself. Now, this is going to be different for everyone, but as I mentioned before, inner child healing is a really good place to start. Now, inner child healing is something that I've talked about a little bit before on this podcast, and if you haven't heard about it before, I recommend you go check out my episode, Judgment XX, Judgment 20. There is a segment in there on inner child healing where I kind of talk about it a little bit, what I do for my inner child healing. And if this is really something that you've never heard before, I recommend you look into it a little bit more. It's something that I will continue to talk about as this podcast goes on. So even if you don't do your own research, it's something that I will continuously bring up and be talking about, because it is so important. Inner child healing is kind of what it sounds like. It's healing the little you that's in there. And this little you, this inner child, it doesn't necessarily have to be a version of you that has ever existed. It can be you right now as you are, but as a younger version. So to give you an example of this, I'll use my own personal inner children. So I have 2 inner children that I work with the most. I will say that I have gone back and done inner child healing with different versions of myself at different life stages as well, and that's something that you can also do. But for what we're going to be talking about today, I will use the example of the two primary inner children that I use. So I have divine masculine, divine feminine inner children. My masculine is based off of who I am now and who I will be moving forward in the future as I continue to transform and transition, and the feminine is who I used to be. It's based off of who I was growing up, the younger versions of me that have existed, and I'm talking about more physically, but they are based off of them emotionally and energetically as well. I like to have a really clear visual when you're doing this type of healing work, because so much of it is visual. It's really helpful if you have a very clear image of the individual that you're working with. Now, when you're doing inner child healing work, it can be really helpful to also visualize a safe space that you and your inner children or inner child can work in. So for me, I have this little meadow, this villa in the south of France, this little cottage. You know, we'll go out and play in the meadows and in the fields and climb the trees and just be children. Get back to that place of joy, that place of love, that place of healing and nourishment that you only know as a child at times. Reconnecting with that piece of you, reconnecting with that joyful, fun-loving, carefree piece of you can be the most nourishing, nurturing thing in the entire world. And connecting to that energy, healing those parts of yourself will help you connect to that energy as who you are now, as the grown person that you are now, regardless of your age. And the more that you do this work, the more you can connect to those pieces of you, the more that you can connect to that joy and live from a place of joy and childlike wonder. And I've definitely seen this in myself. The more that I connect with my inner children, the more that I just do things that light my inner children up, the more that I operate from a place of joy, the easier it is for me to get into this place of childlike wonder and awe and curiosity, because that's so much of what my natural state of being is just a childlike place of awe and wonder, and just having a pure heart and wanting to play joyfully in the magic that this universe has to offer. And it can be really simple things like this outfit, for example. Okay, so this this sweater is like a little Winnie the Pooh sweater, and it's like matching sweats and stuff like that. And I got this weekend, and when I did, I cannot explain the amount of just like joy and childlike wonder and awe that just filled up my entire being. I was so excited, and then I literally got home and put them on right away because I was so excited. It was the type of thing where like we had originally left the store and I was like, no, I need to go back because I need to get that thing because my inner child fucking needs that, like right now, like ASAP. Like I'm not going home without that. Like and we did. Like I went back the next day and I got it, and it was so beautiful. It can be really simple things as well. Like, let me show you. So these are two really good examples of what inner child healing work can look like. So this guy I love so much. I was putting together a little care package for my sister for Valentine's Day, and I saw that guy and I was like, you're coming home with me. Because I love dinosaurs, and dinosaurs is something that I never felt that I could enjoy before because of gender stereotypes that I placed on myself growing up. Because of that, there were certain parts of my inner child that were just like really starved. And so looking at that, looking at places where your inner child is starved and feeding those parts of yourself that have been starved, just pouring love into yourself. Like, let's say that you were a kid, right, and you really liked cookies and your parents were like, nah man, you can't be having cookies all the time. You're a grown adult now. If you want to have cookies for breakfast, do it. I mean, your doctor probably won't like that, but like, you could do it. And if it's feeding love into the part of you that's been starved, then I mean, what are you losing by keeping that love from flowing through you, you know? This is another really good example. So this is my Valentine's Day present to my mom. It's a little incense holder that's like shaped like a heart. Today I literally spent all day just playing with clay and just like crafting, and I made things for my mom, my grandparents, and me for Valentine's Day, and just like little things with hearts in them. And making art, making little cool crafts and projects like this gets me back to a place of my inner child as well, because he just loves to create, he loves to play, he loves to draw, he loves to paint. Like he wants to just like spend his days like painting his life away, and it's just like so beautiful. So the more that I connect to those parts, the more that I feed those parts of him, the more joyous he becomes, and the more that I see those parts of me come alive as well. This clay is like something that I've had for a little while, and it's taken me this long to actually do something with it. And I think that's also like another really good thing to point out, is sometimes we do things with the intent of, oh hey, I'm gonna do this thing because it'll bring me a lot of joy, but then we don't follow through all the way. We don't actually do the thing, we don't complete it, so we don't actually get the joy out of it. So that's another thing that I want you to pay attention to, is if you're kind of half starting things to give yourself joy, to sort of start pouring love into yourself, but you're not completing it all the way, because that's definitely something that I've been guilty of. You know, my brain, it goes back and forth all the time. So like when I'm in really unfocused places, I will start something and then kind of leave it half finished. And then that same sort of thing happens a lot. So if this is something that you can also relate to, I want you to notice that. Pay attention to it. Check yourself, you know, be like, hey, you know what? I was doing this thing, I was pouring love into myself and I didn't finish it. I did not complete that task all the way. And acknowledge it. And that's okay. But you know what? Now that you've acknowledged it, you can go back. You can go back and start doing that thing again. Start pouring that love into yourself again. Because you deserve that love. There's no reason to keep that love from you. You're the only one keeping that from you. So why are you going to do it? You're the only one standing in your way. You're the only one that can set you free. Don't limit yourself. Don't hold yourself back. Because you deserve so much more. And I think it's really important to note that the more that you do these things, the easier that it'll get. I know right now I'm kind of talking about a lot of different things, you know, your inner child and doing inner child healing work and pouring that love into yourself, but also boundaries and protection. But the more that you do these things, the easier that they'll get. And the more that you'll see these different things that you can do to pour love into yourself. The hardest thing is always starting, and I want you to know that. Like, if I'm saying this and it sounds scary to you and you're just like, oh my god, what even, where do I start? First off, take a breath. All right, we're gonna take a breath together. Okay? And I want you to know that it's okay. You're gonna be okay. We're gonna do it again, but we're gonna breathe in love and we're gonna exhale that stress and anxiety and fear, okay? I breathe in love. I exhale stress, anxiety, and fear. And I just want you to feel it all melting away, okay? Infuse yourself with that love. Get back to your natural state of vibration. Get back to your natural place of being. Infuse yourself with that love, because no one deserves your love like you. No one deserves your love like you. If you're gonna pick one person in this entire universe to love, it should be you. No one deserves your love like you. So I know this can be scary, and it was scary for me. I'm not gonna lie about that. I had no idea where to begin with all of this. The first time I heard inner child healing, it was in a tarot reading, and I was like, what the fuck even is that? I went on YouTube and was searching up all of these videos, and I was like, how do I do this? Where do I start? And I just started doing meditations. I started doing inner child healing meditations, and it helped a lot. And the more that I kind of just sat with myself and visualized who these inner children were and sort of what they wanted, and kind of just completed that, fed them what they wanted, like the dinosaurs, right? So my inner child was starved of a lot of different things because, as I said, I imposed gender stereotypes on myself as I was growing up. And that's for a lot of different reasons, but at the end of the day, I'm the one that was doing it to me in combination with everything else. And I hold myself accountable for those actions. And if this is something that you're also guilty of, I want you to know that that's okay, first off. But you need to acknowledge that. You need to acknowledge that you're placing your own limitations on yourself. You are a limitless being. You're limitless. So don't limit yourself. Don't make yourself smaller or less than. Don't put yourself inside of a box, okay? If you watched the last episode, you know that was number 7. Don't put yourself in a box. You don't need to label yourself. You don't need to make yourself this perfect little person. Just be you. And that's all that matters. However you want that love, however you want to receive that love, however your inner children need that love, give it to them. Give your inner child whatever it is that they desire, whatever it is that they feel, whatever it is that they need, whatever it is that they crave. It's like, you know when you're at the store and you're a little kid and like, you're like, ooh, I really want that toy. And your mom's like, no, you can't have that toy. But you're like, but mom, I really want that toy. Like you can go back and give that younger version of you that toy that you always really, really wanted and you weren't allowed to have. And that can go across the board with anything. It can be however you want to look, whatever you want to wear, whatever it is that you like that you weren't allowed to do before. And just have fun with it. Playfulness is one of the most underrated energies. And it's actually kind of sad. I feel like when we become adults, like there's this whole idea of like you have to stop being a kid and like Peter Pan syndrome and stuff like that, right? It's like you can't be a child your entire life. And I think because this whole societal idea of like you need to be grown up, you need to like do these things, we lose this playfulness, we lose this sense of joy, this connectivity that we had to our inner child gets severed because you're like, no, I need to be this person, I need to be an adult, I need to be someone that can be responsible and pay bills. And you can be both. Two things can be true. You can be an adult and still have playfulness, still live joyfully, still connect to your inner child. It's like if you've ever seen those Disney commercials where it's literally like the dad like going like he's like treating like I guess like a giant light bulb or like a broom or something like as a lightsaber, and he's just playing like it's the cute dumb little things that just bring you joy, that just connect you to that inner child again. Those are the things that you need to be doing to pour that love into yourself, connect to yourself. Live joyfully, live from a place of love. Now, another way that you can pour love into yourself, healing nourishment, is simply by instilling a good self-care routine. For me personally, self-care starts in the morning. That's like the easiest time of day. Is like literally like right when I roll out of the bed, because first thing when I get out of the bed, I usually end up like in the bathroom. So I've kind of turned it into a thing where like I'm in the bathroom, so then like I immediately just start like flossing, and then flossing rolls over into like brushing my teeth, and then brushing my teeth rolls over into like cleaning my piercings, and then cleaning my piercings rolls over to like putting lotion anywhere, rolls over into like me putting my sneakers on and then going outside and like running outside the house, and then like making myself breakfast, and it kind of just rolls over from one thing to the next to the next. And I find that doing that, starting my day with self-care, self-love, but also having it sort of planned out and kind of one thing rolling into the next, helps my brain a lot, because it's like first thing when you wake up in the morning, you're starting your self-care. So like you don't get lazy and you're like, no, I don't want to, like, I'm okay. Like, you don't have an excuse. Like, you're gonna get up anyways, you're gonna use the bathroom anyways, so start the self-care the second that you like enter the bathroom, you know, get it rolling like right from the jump, and then you are in it already, so you're not gonna back out of doing it. I find that when you start your mornings with self-care, like, you're pouring that love into yourself from the second that you wake up. You're showing yourself that you love yourself the second that you wake up. And you know, doing morning routines is like, oh, that's just my morning routine. Oh, that's just brushing my teeth. No, it's so much more than that. Like, you're literally pouring love into yourself. You're taking care of yourself. And if you don't think of it in that way, I want you to start thinking of it in that way. Like, as you're there, like brushing your teeth, be like, hey, I'm pouring love into myself. I love myself. I love my mouth. I love my teeth. I love my gums. And just like tell yourself that you love yourself. Just focus on connecting to that energy of love that you have for yourself as you're doing these things. And the more that you do that, the more you'll see the self-love sort of grow. And the more that it grows, the easier that it becomes, and the more easily it'll just flow into other parts of your life. The more easily you'll be able to connect to it when you're not doing your self-care routine. You'll be able to connect to that self-love when you're not brushing your teeth in the morning, when you're, you know, doing your homework. You'll be able to connect to your self-love. And the more that you practice it, the easier it'll be to connect to it in times when you really need it. Times where things can be difficult. Times where you are lacking in that self-love. Now, a really good example of this would be, for me personally, I have always had body issues. I have never really been comfortable in my body, and a lot of that has to do with my weight. And so it was really interesting. This weekend was like the first time that I was trying clothes on in a really long time. And fitting rooms have always been like a really scary place for me, but this place didn't even have a fitting room, so I was like sort of between the aisles, like trying stuff on. And it was really interesting seeing the way that I just like naturally reacted to things, and how I still have this like natural reaction of like disliking my body. I'm not to the point where I'm like naturally like, oh my god, yes, I love this. Like, yes, like I still do my affirmations every morning. I still wake up most mornings and tell myself that I love my body and infuse my body with love, because it's something that I still struggle with. And so it was really interesting to be in this place where I am really out of my element, really uncomfortable, normally in a very low state, and doing these things, trying these clothes on, and then to recognize like, hey, you're hating on yourself right now. Hey, you need to stop. Hey, you need to pour love into yourself, and take that step back. To be able to take that step back and be like, okay, what I'm doing right now is harmful to myself, mentally and emotionally. I need to take a step back and just tell myself that I love myself, pour love into myself in the ways that I can in this moment to help me get through this moment. And it gets so much easier when you do that. When you're able to apply it to any situation where you need it, it's amazing. And it'll change your life if you let it. If you learn to love yourself, and I mean really, truly love yourself like you've never been loved, it will change your life. And you know what? The more that you love you, the more the people around you will see that and appreciate it, and they'll love you too. And I'm not saying that you should love yourself to gain the love and approval of others. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying that when you love yourself, you start to glow from the inside out. Your light starts to shine so vibrantly and so beautifully that it can't be denied anymore. And the people around you will see that, and they'll recognize it, and they'll respect it. They'll see you glowing, and they'll see your beauty. They'll see the love, and they'll want to shower you in that love, because it's what you're giving yourself. So it's what's expected, because if that's how you treat you, then that's also how they should treat you. There was an analogy I heard someone use one time, and it was in relation to self-love in relation to relationships. If you only love yourself 10%, someone else can come around and offer you 15% love, And because it's more than what you're giving yourself, you're like, oh my God, that's so much love. Yes, I will definitely take that. Like, let's do the thing. Like, let's be a couple. Like, yeah, we're going to do that. But they're only giving you 15% love. But if you were giving yourself like 95% love, and they came up and they were like, hey, sweet thing, and they're only offering you 15%, you're like, you can take your fucking measly 15%. You can shove that shit, because I love myself 95%. So your 15% ain't got shit on me, you know? And that's the way that it should be. That's the way it should be. You should be loving yourself 95%. And if you're not there, that's okay. Because I'm not either. I'm working on it every single day. And that's all that matters. And if you're also working on it, then I want you to know that you're exactly where you need to be. Because you're working on it. And that's all that matters. Every day is baby steps forward. Every day, inching progress forward and forward. Just keep moving. Keep growing in that love for yourself. Keep growing in that joy for yourself. Keep learning how to protect yourself, how to put boundaries up, how to say no. Say no to other people so you can say yes to you. Because you deserve to say yes to you. And you deserve to learn to say no to other people. But this also goes to show that when it comes to that romantic relationship, that love, that idolized love that so many of us are looking for, the best way to find that really is to pour that love into yourself. Be your own significant other. Whatever it is that you have dreams of someone doing for you, do it for yourself. If that's, I want a partner that's gonna like buy me flowers and, hold me in the middle of the night. Okay, here's a thought. What if you bought yourself flowers? What if you held yourself? I mean, trust me, your boy's rolled himself up in like a little blanket burrito many a time, and body pillows are a fucking yes. And flowers, you can go buy yourself flowers anytime. You deserve flowers. Go buy yourself flowers. Do something sweet for yourself. It's on me. But yeah, like to find that happily ever after, to find the person that you really want to be with, that's gonna treat you right, that's gonna treat you the way that you deserve to be treated, you need to treat yourself that way first. You need to figure out how to treat yourself that way first. What it is that you need to feel safe and nourished and nurtured and protected in your own energy. Do that for yourself. Learn what that is. And then when that right person comes along, they'll know how to do it too. They'll be able to follow your lead. They'll see the way that you love and care for yourself and be able to do that same thing in turn. Because if they love you, they'll rise to the occasion. They'll see, oh, this is how this person likes to be loved. This is how this person takes care of themselves. This is how this person shows themselves that they love them. So if I love them, this is also how I should show them that I love them. They'll follow suit and they'll understand. So, happy Valentine's Day. I hope that you find the love of your life by looking in the mirror. I really do, because I know I have. Love you, Augie. Yeah, it's really interesting because I have a very unique perspective, especially right now. The past couple of months, I have kind of just been alone and by myself. Not really very many people around. It's kind of given me the space to figure a lot of different things out. And one of the things that I've been able to figure out the most is that I'm my own best friend. That I make myself laugh like none other. That I love my own company. That I enjoy the crap out of my own company. That I really am my own best friend. That I am the love of my life. That I think that I'm beautiful. That I think that I'm amazing. I have all of these little reminder notes that I send myself on my phone, and it just happens automatically every day. And this is a good idea for you too if you have a phone that can do this. I use my reminders app, and I'll just send myself little notes of like, hey gorgeous, like just thinking about how cute you are, like thinking about how amazing you are. I use that for all different types of things, for emotional check-ins and just to hype myself up. But it's a really good way for you just to like continuously pour love into yourself the entire day, because you get it and it's like you're getting a text message from a significant other, but you're actually just like getting love from you, from an alternate outside source that is also you. And doing that, pouring that love into yourself, being that significant other for yourself, again, lays groundwork for in the future when you do have a significant other, they can then follow suit and be like, oh, this is what this person wants to hear to feel loved. Okay, I can do that. I can text you like in the middle of the day and hype you up and be like, damn, you so cute. How'd you even get out here? Like, you know? So takeaways from today's podcast. I really just want you to know that you're a being of love. Love is your natural state of being. It's our natural state of being. And no one deserves your love like you. You deserve your love. You deserve to pour love into yourself. You are worthy and deserving of the love that you give others. Instead of trying to people please, instead of trying to pour love into all of the people around you, I want you to try pouring that love into yourself. Be your own Valentine. Focus on self-care. Focus on what works for you. What do you want? Ask yourself, what do I want? How do I want to be loved? And do it. Whatever the answer to those questions are, do it. I want you to answer those questions free of judgment, unapologetically. Just like let yourself have it. And whatever the responses are, whatever the answers to those questions are, I want you to look at them from an unbiased place of being. I want you to look at them without judging them. It could be the silliest, most dumb thing in the world in your eyes, but I don't want you to look at it like that. I want you to look at it as, this is what it's going to take for me to love myself. And I might think this is dumb. I might think that this is silly, but it's not. Instead, I want you to look at it and say, this is what's going to bring me joy. This is going to help me pour love into myself. This is what I need mentally, emotionally, energetically, and I'm okay with that because I love and accept myself exactly as I am, because you deserve to love and accept yourself exactly as you are. I want you to come into alignment, come into balance, find a way to balance that masculine and feminine energy within yourself, learn how to protect yourself, and also nourish and nurture yourself. Do those two things simultaneously. They don't have to be two completely different things. Protecting yourself is nourishing and nurturing yourself. Upholding your boundaries, saying no to others so you can say yes to you, is treating yourself with love, is treating yourself with respect. You are worthy and deserving of love and respect. I want you to spend time with your inner child. Figure out what they like, figure out what they need, figure out what they're craving. Give them anything their little hearts desire, because they are worthy and deserving. Because you are worthy and deserving. Connect to that joyful, playful part of yourself. Get back to that place of love, that place of unapologetic, carefree playfulness, joyfulness, love. Ask yourself, what does my inner child need? Ask your inner child, what do you need? What do you want? And again, do it from a place free of judgment. Do it from a place of love. Spend time on self-care. Spend time pouring love into yourself. Do it first thing in the morning or last thing before you go to bed. Realize that the little things that you do, the routines that you do to keep yourself fed and watered and clean are self-love. The things that you do to take care of yourself and your body, things like making sure that you're eating right and you're drinking water and going on walks and connecting to nature, all of these things are love. All of these things are self-care. Whatever it is that you need to feel loved and nourished and nurtured, that's what you should be spending time and energy on, especially on days like today. It's Valentine's Day, and I know you're not going to see this till afterwards, but when you're listening to this, it's your honorary Valentine's Day. Okay, whenever you're listening to this, congratulations, it's your honorary Valentine's Day. So this is me giving you free range, free excuse. You get to pour love into yourself however you want, unapologetically. Do it, whatever it is that's gonna bring you that joy. For some of us, it's eating a really good meal, and for others of us, it's just being able to loaf and watch cartoons. And for some of us, it's getting big old stuffies that we can just cuddle with. Whatever it is that it is for you, I want you to do that for yourself unapologetically. Connect to that heart space. Connect to your love. Become the love of your life. You deserve to be the love of your life. I want you to find the love of your life by looking in the mirror. Realize that the love of your life has been there all along, waiting for you to reach out to them. And the more that you realize that, the more that you treat yourself like the love of your life, the more the people around you will treat you with that same love, with that same respect, with that same compassion, with that same generosity. And before you know it, you'll be overflowing with love from all of these different sources. Now, before we close out today's episode, I do want to do a quick affirmation exercise with you guys, okay? Just some things for you to take with you for when you're feeling a little depleted and need to infuse yourself with love. All right, we're going to do our breathing exercise first. We're going to breathe in love and exhale that stress and anxiety and fear, just like we did before, okay? I breathe in love. I exhale stress, anxiety, and fear. Now I want you to repeat after me. I am love. I am love. I am love. I am. I lead with love. I treat myself with love. I treat myself with respect. I uphold my boundaries. I protect myself. I protect my energy. I nourish myself. I nourish my energy. I pour love into myself. I pour love into my inner child. I grant my inner child's every wish. I grant my inner child's every wish. I play joyfully in the magic of the universe, and I'm free to be me. I play joyfully in the magic of the universe, and I'm free to be me. I am the love of my life. 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 I love and accept myself exactly as I am. I love and accept myself exactly as I am. I love me unapologetically. I am a beautiful, beautiful soul. I love myself, mind, body, and spirit. I love myself, mind, body, and spirit. I am unapologetically me. I love and accept myself exactly as I am, and there's no one else that I'd rather be. All right, friend. And with that, I think we're at the end of our episode. So I would just love so much if you could just do one little thing for me. Be kind to yourself today. Pour love into yourself today, okay? Will you do that for me? Will you try your best? I know it isn't always easy. Sometimes we're not the kindest to ourselves, and I understand that, but you did something today. You listened to this podcast all about love, all about loving yourself, all about accepting yourself. And because you did that, it shows me that you want to change, that you want to love yourself, that you want to accept yourself. So do that. Try. And if you're already doing that, if you've already been trying, then I want you to treat yourself, because you're doing great. And I believe in you. You got this. Keep doing it. Keep doing the good work. Keep pouring that love into yourself. And know that the end results will be worth it. I love you. I believe in you. I want you to remember that no one deserves your love like you deserve your love. And I want to thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being here with me. I love you so very much. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for allowing me to do what I do and just for being you. I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for your energy. I'm grateful that you're here. I really am. And if you're feeling it, you can like and subscribe on the YouTube video. And I always put Q&As on the Spotify podcast. So if you want to look into that Q&A and kind of just let me know what you're thinking, what you're feeling on YouTube, feel free to leave me a comment and like, subscribe, do whatever you're feeling. And I'll see you on the next podcast. I am so excited. I cannot wait to see you again. Until then, bye, friend.